Welcome back. This is the second tutorial on getting your DAZ body into Unity and making it playable and all that fun stuff. In the previous video, we went over DAZ to just getting this model inside of Unity. Now we have the model inside of Unity. We have it pretty well set up, but the issue is everything else. We're going to have problems with it being too many materials, too high quality. It's going to be causing a lot of frames per second. It's not cut up. There's a whole lot of things that we still need to do. So we're going to go over that. First, we're going to open up a Blender window. Here you can just select or press the A key and then delete, and it gets rid of all those. And I like to clear out that collection as well. We're going to import FBX, and we need to go down to your let's see here. You go to your game folder, then assets, then DAZ, and for this one I named it Video Genesis 8 Female, and then there's your FBX. And you might want to remember that these are here because we're going to be needing them, which it will appear down here inside your recent. So we're going to hit import FBX. Now you will notice that they are deformed. This can be overwhelming at first because it looks like you've already messed up, but you didn't. We're going to go over here to the object data properties and click on rest position. Now we're starting to get a little bit happier with this, right? And then the second thing we want to do is click on this little eyeball so it hides the skeleton. And then here's your body. This is what you are used to seeing. But now you will also notice that there is more problems than what you realized to begin with. You might not notice it now, but you will later. And the problem is actually the skeleton. You'll notice that the bones are not connected. They're just pointing straight up. Now this, I don't know why it is this way to begin with, but that's how it is when they export it from DAZ to Unity. And that is a huge problem, something that will not work. So the only real way to fix this is if you still have your DAZ window up, which I still do in mine, and if you don't, it's not a big deal. You can just grab, all I did was grab my Genesis 8 Female, and we're going to export it. Okay, so from here, you actually need another plugin. This is going to be to grab your DAZ to Blender plugin. So I'm going to have a link for that. You can just click on it, download it, install it, follow the directions on how to do so. We're going to use it now. It's going to be send to DAZ to Blender. And asset name, we're just going to put in Blender model. And then we're going to click on accept. Or if you do not have this, if you don't have the plugin in Blender yet, you can simply use that. For me, let's see here, what version do I have? You can always find it by, I say that. You can go down to your task manager, find which Blender you are using, which of course I have two of them open. Not real smart on my part. You can go to open file location to figure out which one it is you are using. This is a Blender 3.2. And then this one here is 3.4. So I'm assuming that this one here that I have open up in another window, I don't know. Either way, we'll figure it out. We're going to let's start over. So here we are in Blender. We have the Genesis 8 female body. Now, I didn't close my window from last time, so it was still here. But you can just simply open up and reload another Genesis 8 female. This part here doesn't really matter as much. But you're going to need to go down to File and send to DAZ to Blender. Now, this is also another extension that is also free. You can click on it, and from here you'll go down to Install Plugin if you don't already have it installed. I am using 3.2. Actually, I'm using 3.4 and it's not listed here, so we're just going to do a custom add-on path, and we're going to select Install Plugin. But first, before I do that, I don't want to confuse myself. Blender, there we go. That way I'll just know which is which in case it, we're going to click on that. There we are, 3.4. And, I don't know. I think it's supposed to be inside the add-ons. I'm just going to hit select folder. The destination folder. Please make sure that Blender is properly installed. Script this. You can close and abort, select a new folder, and ignore this warning and install the plugin anyway. We're just going to hit abort. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this, and I'm just going to put in new, and I'll install it manually. New folder. There we go, and I'm going to go like this. That way I can go back and do it. I'm going to hit ignore, and there we go. Now it says it's been installed. So we're going to go down that same folder. See, you're supposed to be inside of add-ons then. Okay. So I can just click on X. Whoops. There we are. 3.4 add-ons. And that one's, as you see, it's already been installed, so there's no reason to do that. So it must be 3.2 that I'm using. Yep. Gotta hit Control C. Apparently I had to do it over. There we go. So now 3.2 should have it there as well. And to do this, I do believe I need to go down to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and we're going to click to see if it says DAZ. There we are. Okay, now it's installed. DAZ to Blender. You see it's right here. So now we need to go back to DAZ now that we have that installed and ready. And we're just going to click on Apply. Actually, we need to export morphs, which I guess probably doesn't really matter, honestly. Because that's, yeah, it don't matter. We're just going to uncheck that because we have that on our other FBX. And we're going to hit Accept. We're going to let it do its thing. Now it says export phase from DAZ Studio complete. Please switch to Blender to begin the import process. We hit OK, and now we're going to go down to Blender. And now it says it's going to start on its own, but it's not. You need to click on Import New Genesis Figure. And then you just import New Genesis Figure. And it'll take a second, but there it is. And the issue being, I think it just... Nope, there's my original. Okay. Now, the issue is simply it imported way too many things. The only, see here, we're going to just delete out a lot of the stuff that we do not need. It can be those. I think that's our actual Genesis figure right there. But we have all these other things, and none of it are we need. So we're just going to delete all of those. All right. And now you might notice you can see the bones that are highlighted yellow, and they're all connecting each other. That's what we want. That is why we did the whole Blender process from DAZ to Blender, because that's what we need when we're using Unity. I don't know why that it's not that way in Unity, but that's something the developers will have to figure out on their own at some point. So to get rid of all these extra things that are just in our way, we're going to hold Shift, click on the new body, and we're going to come up here to the very top. I say that, but nothing doesn't want to move. See if I can just do it this way. Yeah, there we go. We can just select those and delete them out. Okay, so our original body is still here. As you see, it's right here and there. And the only thing that we really want from this one is just the armature. We don't really care for the body or the eyelashes because we already done that in the previous one. So we can select them and delete them out. But we're going to be using these ones, so we're going to highlight those. We're going to hold down the Shift key, and we're going to click and drag to the new armature. But before we release the mouse button, we're going to hold down the Alt key as well. Now you can release. Now what that did was the Shift key, I can't even honestly remember why, but if you don't do that, it doesn't keep its shape and form, and it explodes and goes all kinds of craziness, and we don't want that. But we do want to go ahead and delete out the old armature. Now we have the correct skeleton with the correct body, and we're off to a much better start. The next thing we need to do is go ahead and fix the armature by doing that and that. And I do suggest you go ahead and just rename this to skeleton. There we go. So that way, whenever you are in Unity, you'll at least know what it is you're looking at. And now this is your body. These are the eyelashes. Let's see here. Now, we'll go ahead and start off with breaking up the body, because you're going to need the body to be broken up if you're using the RPG creation kit. If you're not using the RPG creation kit, I highly recommend it. I'll have a link for it inside the description. If you're using something else and do not need the body cut up, then I'm just going to tell you now that what you're using, this system is not going to be very optimized, and I do suggest you cut up the body because you're going to need it later on. So let's go ahead and start with that process. What we will need to do is go down to edit mode, which I'm on the eyelashes, so that won't work. And I'm going to actually hide the skeleton just by clicking that. It's still there, it's just now I can't see it. Okay, so before we go really any further, we're going to want to start off with saving this, because there's going to be a lot of times that you're going to go to a certain point and realize that you messed up and you can't undo far enough, so you'll have to reload your save. So we're going to hit save as, and I'm going to just save this as a video because I'm just making this just for this video. Okay, now it's been saved. So let's go and start off with, I guess let's do the head. Let's cut off that head. And honestly, let's go ahead and go down to edit mode. We're going to hit tab to go to edit mode. And I do find it best to, actually I think it's in this one. Since the mesh is highlighted, just put your mouse over here into this empty space and push P. Nope. I guess it's in edit mode. Go to edit mode, then hit P. And we're going to separate everything by the material. That's going to really help us out a lot. So we have where the arms are split. The legs are already split. We just got to split off the feet, the hands, and the head, because the head is split up in a very weird spot. You will not like that in game. So let's go ahead and try to name some of these things while we're here. Save ourselves a little bit of time, and we'll combine things as we go too. These are the toenails. We're going to want to connect those to the feet, which are only the legs right now. So let's go ahead and just name it. What is it here? This here is the torso. This one here looks like it's the face. This one here is the lips. This one here I think is the teeth. Then this one here is the ears. This one here is the legs. This one here looks like it's a part of the eyes, because there's a whole bunch of these for eyes. So I'm just going to write down eyes 1. And then this here looks like it's the gums. This here is the arms. And I'm going to say eyes 2. Eyes 3. There's like 5 materials for the eyes, which is crazy. These here are my fingernails. Then I think I'm on eyes 4. Then this is eyes 5. Then eyes 6. Jeez. And I think that's everything all named now. Yes, okay. So, and you will notice as we cut these up, there is definitely a difference in all of this. And hate to say it, that's a hard process to come to fix. It is, but it's not. We're going to test around with a few different ideas I have, because we don't really want to do it the way that I did it in the past. That was way too complicated and it was messy. So for these eyes, we're just going to highlight all the eyes and then hit Alt J, and that'll combine them into just one mesh. And again, name it as eyes. We will want the eyes separate from the head. That way we can change out the materials on the eyes so they can have different colors, shades, whatever. And then we're going to want to combine the ears and the lips with the face. There we go. And then technically we're going to have to combine it with the torso because we need it to cut somewhere else. We're going to cut it along at the neck. That's going to be a whole lot better right there. So let's go ahead and do that now. Whoops. Torso, there we go. And as you see, there's a line, of course, like I was saying just a minute ago. And we're going to want to connect the toenails to the legs. And then we're going to want to connect the fingernails to the arms. And let's see here, the teeth to the gums. And now we have the arms, the eyes, the gums, legs, and torso. Okay, so now we're off to a good start. Let's go ahead and start off with the head. Actually, let's go ahead and save real quick, because this is a good point to save, trust me. Now we're going to go down to the torso, and we're going to separate the head, which I want to go ahead and hide the gums real quick. I want to hide the gums. I want to hide everything that we're not using. So here's the torso. Now we're going to want to go down to edit mode by selecting or just pressing tab on your keyboard and then hit A. Actually, let's not do A. There we go. And I like to this is going to be a bit confusing if you're not used to Blender. I'm going to select about right here, middle of the forehead, and I do select more. I hit select M and then M, and it gets bigger each time I do this. Reason being, it's just a little bit easier than it's a little bit easier doing it this way than it is selecting all around there, because then there's little crevices and cracks that are really easy to miss. And all of that, but now I guess I also need to do it this way to get the ears. There we go. Jeez. Guess it's going to want to fight me the whole way. I also need to select part of this head. There we go. At least I know I got everything, I guess. Pause. Let's keep on going. Now at this point you need to figure out where exactly you want your cut to be. I like mine to be right here at this spot, so that's far enough on the back. But for the front, we're going to need to zoom in, and I go down to the, let's see here, the select circle. And I'll hold down the shift key, and then I can kind of just sit here and keep on selecting everything else that I need to get. There's obviously a problem here. I'm going to have to fight that here in a minute. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to back off everything by 1. Holding down the Alt key, I can unselect things. There we go. See, I'm backing off once, that way I can use the select more one more time. There we go. By doing that, it allowed me to get up in that spot that I couldn't reach for some weird reason. And it gets everything perfectly how I want. Now, we're going to separate it. And to do that, we're going to press the letter P on our keyboard, and by selection this time. Now we have the head and the torso as separate parts. Perfect. Okay, now we have the head separate and we have the mouth separate. Let's go ahead and show that real quick. Can't remember which is which. There we go. See, there's your gums, and they are just fine. That's the whole inside of the mouth, by the way. You'll have the tongue in there, the teeth, everything's all inside of there. That's how you're going to want that. So from here, let's go ahead and rename this so it won't keep on being confused. That's the head. We got the torso. The torso seems fine. You can probably just leave it like this and you'll be alright. So we got the torso done, we have the head done. The legs do need broken up to the feet and the legs. To do this, we're going to hit tab again to go down to edit mode after we select the legs. And I'm going to go back to select box. That's what I'm more familiar with. There we go, and just select the very top layer just like that. And now, like I say, I like to use the select more because it gets a perfectly even circle. It keeps me from missing things. For me, it's a little bit less error prone if I do it this way. And I'm going to get down to probably right here, right where that triangle meets. Right there. Now that's a good place to separate between the legs and the feet. It's a nice, fairly smooth circle to separate it from. I'm going to hit P by selection. Okay, so right here, this is now the feet. that are highlighted. And this here is the legs. Okay, so now the feet and the legs are broke up, just how we need it to be. The head's done. The lashes are going to be combined in with the eyes here soon, probably. And the arms are what needs separated next. And like I said, I've done this before, so I already kind of know where I want everything to be done at. We're going to be hitting Tab to go back to edit mode again, and just select the top layer. And we're going to do the select more and more thing again. But this time I want it to stop where these triangles are. So we're going to select more, this over and over. There's probably a much easier way to do this, and if you, I mean, you can do this however you want. This is just my way of doing it. Almost there, and there we go. And we're going to check it out. Nice, fairly good spot. You could probably go back one, honestly. In fact, I will. There we go. I think that might be a hair bit better. Is it? Zoom in and see. Looks better on the under part, so we'll just keep that. There we go. Perfect. I think that's going to be a good spot. So we're going to hit P to separate by selection again, and we're going to unselect and name them as they need to be. This is now hands. And this is arms. Okay, now we have everything split up the way that we want, except for the eyelashes. So we're going to select the eyelashes, and to me, I want to go ahead and combine these with the eyes. There, whoops. Got to hold, click on it, click on the one you want, and then the one you want to join to. You hold down the Control, click, and then J for join, or Control J for join. There we go. Now the eyelashes are a part of the eyes. Now, at this point, we're going to address the issue of the different shades, because in game you will definitely see that. Like, this arm is darker than the torso. What's happening whenever you split them is it's taken the normal map from the entire body and making two normal maps, and it's still using the entire body on the arm and then the entire body on the torso. On the torso it looks fine because that's where it's supposed to be. Now, these are normal maps that you cannot see. These are not textures. These are the mesh normal maps. It's a little bit complicated, but we're going to work our way through it. Now, the way I've done it in the past was by using a corner mesh data transfer. It was all kinds of craziness, but I found a different way that works pretty darn good. All you need to do is go down to weighted normal. Click on the mesh. Sorry, let's start over. Let's go down to arms, the modifiers, and then you go to add a modifier, and we're going to go down to data transfer was what I used in the past, and that was a really hard way to do it. But we're going to go down to weighted normal. Okay, see, it looks a little bit off still, but that's fine. We're going to go down to torso and do the same thing. Okay, and as you'll notice, that did not fix it, darn it. Yep, that didn't fix it. I was hoping it would. Okay, so we are going to have to do this the hard way. The hard way being, well, the hard way is also not really all that hard. But I want to go back to the arms and remove that other one. There we go. Okay, so what we will need to do is actually import again another FBX. And this one is going to be your old one. Yep, there it is. And we need to go back to armature, go down to rest position, and we're going to... So, okay, now that's brought in, we're going to actually just make everything invisible for now. There we go. and we're going to go down to the arms, and what we're going to do is add in the data transfer. Was that right? Yeah, that was right. Okay, data transfer, and we're going to be using the face corner data. Go and drop that down, and now we're going to be selecting the custom normals. That's what it says here if you just use the mouse over. And then we're going to be using the this here, and we're going to be using the Genesis 8 shape. And you'll notice that let's see here, I believe it's this one. Yeah, there we go. And now we just basically have to copy and paste this onto all these other ones. We're going to use torso real fast too. That way we can kind of compare to make sure it's going to look right. Mesh data sequence, which I mean technically this one should be fine how it is. But, whoops. Mesh data sequence, what, I clicked on the wrong one. Data transfer. And then from data transfer, we click on that one, go to this. I believe it's that one. Yep, that looks pretty good. So what it is the nearest corner of nearest face. But you got to have the Genesis 8 body inside the other one, just unmoved. You know, import it and don't move it any. And what it'll do is it'll get the normals off of the original body that is inside of this one, and it'll match it all up. So we're going to just click on apply. That was for the arms. And then, see here for the feet, we're going to need to do this as well. That was the data transfer. I really hate that anybody even has to do this. This is insane stuff. Why they can't make it a little bit easier, I don't know. Why it even breaks up and changes the normal map, I don't know. But trust me when I say that this is absolutely necessary until they fix it. Got to do it to all the body parts. Now, like the eyes, it's not going to matter. The gums, it's not going to matter. And what was fingernails and toenails, those are also not going to matter, because those are going to be a different look right at the seams anyways. I don't know if I did the hands already, so I'm just going to do the hands again. I got to talking and already forgot what I was doing. In fact, I'm probably going to fast forward it, and yeah. Okay, so I went ahead and done all the meshes that needed it, and just to test it out, I'm going to select a few of these and combine them, just that way I can see it. See, there's no seams. That's how we fix it. So we're going to hit Control Z to undo that combine. Now that we know that the seams will not show up in Unity now. And now the next step is going to be a little bit harsh. It's going to be kind of hard as well, as if this wasn't hard enough, right? But we're going to go ahead and delete out the stuff that we brought in a minute ago, the body that we're not using. And we need to go through all of these materials, and we're going to be removing the unused slots. We've got to do this to all of them. Which is probably not all that bad, honestly. Yeah, it seems to be that that's not really a thing here. At least I moved one so far, so I know that we're halfway decent there. Well, there's two of them that removed. A whole bunch there. So this is all optimizing part stuff. We're just optimizing right now. So the legs are one, the head, okay. So the torso is going to be needed because that's technically a whole different material, a whole different texture set for it. But the face is what we're going to mainly rely on. The lips we're going to remove, ears we're going to remove. There, now it's just the face and the torso, which those are separate textures on those. And the arms, which is actually going to be hands here soon, and fingernails. We're going to remove fingernails because it's also the same textures. Gums and teeth, those are also the same. Feet and toenails, those are also the same. Eyes, oh man, let me tell you, those are all exactly the same. Except, well, I say that. The eyelashes are different. Eye moisture, there's really nothing even there. We're just going to delete that out. Well, I don't know. You'll depending on how you want to do your eyes is going to be up to you, because the eye moisture, if you're using HDRP, you can probably see that in game, and using URP you cannot see that in game. So you probably just want to delete those out. That being said, I guess I'll just go ahead and do this for URP. So I'm going to just hit P, and we're going to separate that by material. And you go to edit mode first. That's why we're not doing it. Whoops. There we go. P by material. Even though I've already done this once, we're just doing it again. Okay, we're going to zoom on in. That way we can see what we're doing. And this is one that's actually the material. Oh yeah, eye moisture. I could have just looked at it there. So we're going to get rid of the eye moistures because they're not going to do us any good. What is this one? This is it looks like the entire eyeball. We're going to keep that. This here is an eye socket. I'm actually going to change that one to be a part of the head, because that's actually a part of the skin. There we go. Okay. And now we're back to where we were. That's the actual eyeball. That is the little tiny black dot inside the eye, so we're going to keep that one. This here is eye moisture. We're not going to keep that. Cornea, that's the little eye. Or I mean, that's what you see, I should say. Iris, that's what you see. Okay, so that there, the cornea, is the clear part that you see over your eyeball, over the color part. It's invisible, clear, you can't actually see it. So we're going to remove that as well. See, now we're seeing things as they should be a little bit more. So you have the sclera, the pupils, the colored part of your eyes, and then your eyelashes. So your eyelashes and the rest of it, those are two separate textures. We're going to hit Control J to join those. We're going to rename it to eyes. Okay, so these three here we're going to want to combine. In order to do that, we're just going to delete them out. Where it says irises and eyelashes. Now I believe we are all set up. Arms, eyes, legs, mouth, arms. And let's see here, we got the eye socket, face, and torso. We can remove the eye socket and it'll join with the face. The legs, torso. Okay. So now we're going to do the part that's a little bit more miserable. We're going to need to go down to UV editing. And we're going to blow this up a little ways. And we'll need to see here. We'll need to be able to see UV maps. So looks like we're messing with the arms first, since that's what was selected. Okay, so we're going to hit A. That way it'll highlight them all. And it does actually pull up the right texture. Look at that. So let's, I say that, but look, the arms are going to be way over here. So it's kind of hard to tell when it does that. But so be it. That's what the creators did from DAZ. As you'll as you'll notice, I cut off the hands. So the fingernail textures and the hands are not even on this. So now we have wasted space. And that's not very optimized. So we're going to be fixing that. Now, there is a tool called UV Packer. It's what I use, and it's very helpful. It is actually free. I will have links to it, and it shows how to combine it. And that being said, there's a process to do it, and it's free, like I said, but there's a process to do it, and they tell you how to do it to make it into a package. It's kind of complicated, so I'm going to provide that for you. I've already done the work. All you have to do is install it, and how to install it is just the same way that I installed the DAZ plugin. Okay, so I messed up, so I went back, and that's why the background just suddenly changed. I went ahead and just chose a different image for the background just so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. The arms are still way over here and hideously bad. So the part that I messed up on was you need to make a new UV. So we're going to just go ahead and do that now. Just by hitting the plus sign, what it does, it just copies the UV that's already up here. And we're just going to select new. That way we know which is which and we won't get confused. And then after we have made the new one, we're just going to use this here UV Packer. It's a really nice tool. I will provide it for you. It is actually free, but the link to get it requires you to do a whole lot of work, and it's really complicated. So I'm just going to provide the link where I've already done all the work for you. Now we're going to click on 2K and we're going to pack, and you'll see it throws it in here the best that it can, but it's not perfect. Okay, so we're going to highlight a little spot and hit Control L to make it grab everything like that. Now we're going to rotate it, and we're going to try to make it to where it'll butt up to this top corner. There we go. Now you see we have all this open space here in the middle. We really don't want that. We're going to select everything. I guess you could have just pressed A on your keyboard and got the same result there. We're going to scale it, not by a lot, just by a little, maybe about right there. And we're going to select just one again, and we're going to put it back basically where it was. Ooh, that's pretty good. Just barely fits in there. I'll have to zoom in just to make sure it does here in a second. Hit Control L and do the same thing. And yep, that fits. All right, now let's zoom in and just make sure we're not over any of the borders here, because that was a pretty tight fit. I got pretty lucky on the first shot. Yep, it all fits just fine. It's all inside the borders. And that's what we want. We want to take up as much room as we can onto the UV. What this does is it's going to allow us to use as much of the image space as possible. That way our 4K image, we could reduce it down to 2K and still have the exact same quality with no loss, but it'll have better rendering power now. That being said, we got the arms done. Now this is the UV model that the image is going to be using right now, and this is what it will be using. We're going to be redoing all of our textures to make it a little bit more reasonable for the game. And we're going to go down to, I guess we'll go and do the eyes next. That's going to be pretty harsh, pretty rough to do. Okay, so the first thing again that we need to do is make the new UV map. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and go on through here and make new UV maps on all of them so I don't forget, because I've forgotten twice now. And this will save me from making mistakes over and over, because I tend to make mistakes a lot. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the eyes. And like I was trying to say a minute ago, I've actually done this once. I messed up. So I'm just going to do it again. Now that I know what I'm doing, it'll be a little bit quicker anyways. So these parts are pretty much exactly the same. So, I mean, they're slightly different, but not by much. Not enough that's going to make a difference. So here's that. We're going to leave that just how it is. And then we need to grab the eyes. The eyes, I think, are way over here somewhere. Let's zoom out so I can find them easier. There they are. So we're going to grab them and just scoot them on over a little bit. That way I can get it inside the... So I can get zoomed in and see what I'm doing a little bit easier. And the left is the same as the right. So that being the way it is, I'm going to select everything here. Hit Control L, that way I know I got it. And this is kind of a cool way to do it, is just grabbing this side and going like this. Which that didn't work out the way I had hoped, so we're going to hit Control Z. Don't do it that way. That didn't work. Well, actually, it probably would. We'll just hit Control Z. Just going to throw that side way over there. And we're going to zoom on in. And we're going to try to match that up the best we can, which would be about close to right there. And then we got to grab this side and bring it on in. That's actually really close. See, the top part's almost perfect, but this one here, it seems like it's out of rotation. Since it's just the rotating part that's different, it won't really matter. It'll be the same. So from here, we're going to select rotate, and we're going to rotate. Whoops! I need to reselect everything. Hit Control L. There we go. Now I know I got it. We're going to rotate, and I believe this needs to go 90 or negative 90. There it is, negative 90. And now we're going to move it onto our UV map. And we got to try to fit it all inside of here. There we go. Now we have the eyelashes and eyes using one UV, which this is great. That's what we want. And to make that even better, actually, what we want to do is select this part, hit Control L. Now this is just optimizing. You don't have to do any of this. We're going to expand things, make them a little bit bigger, which might get us more quality out of it. It might not. Either way, don't hurt to try. Control L, and we're going to blow that up. Then we're going to select everything here. Control L again, and blow it all up. There we go. Now we're optimizing our space a lot better. Still could be better, but it's fine. You're not going to get much better than that. Not worth the trouble and time to get a smidge bit better. Now we want to go down to the feet. And we're on the new like we're supposed to be. Let's go ahead and zoom out and find the feet where they are. Oh, I gotta hit Control A. There we go. Or just A. Now we can zoom back in a ways. And I remember doing these ones not even very long ago. So we're going to bring them into the picture. Now the feet, we can really adjust a lot. It's poorly optimized on the UV map because in the past it also included the legs. So what I want to do is grab all the toenail parts. That's what these are the toenails. We're going to pull them out of the picture for now. And we want to grab both of these. Control L, make sure you got it all. 2K and just hit pack. Whoops, hit Control Z. We want to hit selection only and pack. There, now see it just grabbed everything except for the toenails. I don't want the toenails in there because it'll just be blotched in here, and that's not really how I want to do that. Okay, so the next step is going to be rotating this. So Control L, we're going to rotate. And I'm going to want to put it, so you're at negative 180 or 180, don't even matter, be the same. And then we're going to want to put it up at the top corner. And now you see again we have a lot of empty space. So we're going to scale. And this is pretty much just a repeating process over and over between combining and everything. But I'll go ahead and keep on continuing so that way you can see how I'm doing it in case you want to do it yourself. At the end of the series, I will actually provide this model. But again, in order to use it, you will need to buy it from DAZ. Now, when I say buy, I went ahead and done a little bit of research on this. Everything that I've come across says that it's free. I mean, you can use DAZ Genestate Body in Unity for free. Don't quote me on that, but I'm going to send a letter, and I'll leave it inside the comments. I'm going to send a letter to DAZ and make sure that it is okay. But from what I can tell, it seems like it is okay to use. Most likely you'll have to buy a license, I'm sure, because I would really doubt that DAZ would give anything away for free. But you could probably go scale this a little bit bigger. In fact, I think I will. I'll just go and try a little bit bigger because there's still quite a bit of room there. Not a lot, just a little bit. There we go. That might be too much. I'm fairly certain I went too far. Let's see, I bet I did. Looks like right here I have overlapping. So we're going to scale that down just a smidge. Not a lot. There you go. In fact, that might be too much. There we go. Perfect. There we go. Perfect. Now, yeah, now I don't think there's any overlapping at all. Perfect. Overlapping is bad. You do not want overlapping. Now we're going to grab these toenails and we're going to rotate. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and optimize this area a little bit. We're going to select these, Control L, zoom on in so that way we can get a good look. And we're going to go down to about right there. See, they're pretty spaced out. We might as well use that space, right? There we go. Next set. You don't want them too close, but you want them fairly close. A lot closer than what they did. There we go. And now we're actually going to scale these up quite a bit too. About right there. Okay, now we're going to rotate this way to 90 degrees. Or actually, negative 90 degrees would have been better. There we go. We're going to put these ones right over here at the top. See, we probably could have gone a lot bigger, but it's all right. Then these ones over here, we're going to put them possibly going this way or this way. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see which would be better. That's in the way. Yeah, not like that. Let's move it like this. Negative 90. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't think I can get any bigger though. Nope. Okay, so that's that. We're gonna leave it just like that. That's pretty good because we scaled everything bigger. We're optimizing quite a bit of room as much as we can without going insane and making bad choices. So we're gonna leave it just like that. That's pretty good. Now we're gonna check out the gums. Okay, the gums I've not messed with before, so we're in new territory. Here it is. That looks like it's going to take up everything, honestly. Let's go ahead and look. Yeah, I really doubt that I can get any better than it is. So we're just going to move that back. Just leave it alone. Okay, so then the next one. Actually, you know what? Nah, we'll leave it. We're going to go on over to the hands now. Going to hit Control A. Oh man, yeah. We are definitely going to be optimizing that. That's horrible. But of course, this was also included with the arms, so at the time it was probably just fine. But not now. We're going to move the fingernails out of the way, and we're going to just go ahead and grab the hands, Control L, and we're going to use our pack tool to, yeah, that's pretty good. I don't think I can make that any better. Okay, with that being said, let's find a good spot for these toenails or the fingernails. we're probably not we're not going to be able to scale them any, that's for sure. We're going to take them and let's see here. What would be a good idea? I think I can just flip this down to a 180. And then I'm going to move them to be the top part. Or get them as close as I can to each other. And then I'm going to put them probably right here in the middle. There we go. That's plenty close. Now we're going to grab them all. And we're going to rotate. Probably like this. There we go. And now we're going to try to put it in here in the middle without it touching anything. Dead center. Close as I can get it at least. And now, I mean, now we can actually scale a little bit. There we go, and I got to raise it up a little bit so it's not overlapping. Ooh, I did scale too much. So we're going to take that back down a little bit. There we go. Now, yeah, perfect. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, if you really wanted to, I mean, you could probably separate these and put them all here and there and make it even bigger, but man, that's pretty good. I'd be happy with that. I like that a lot. Okay, so now we're going to go. Now we're going to go to the head. The head, there's going to be an issue. There's going to be an issue for sure because there's more than one. Okay, so let's go ahead and find it all. I'm going to have to hit A over here and then A over here. Okay, so the issue is that we have, I think that this up here is the ears. This here's the head. And then I think that's the, oh, what do you call it? The behind the eyeballs. And then this here is around your neck. Now, originally these are both 4K, they're both 4K resolution images. So we're going to try not to scale down anything at all, but I don't know if we can get away with it or not. We're going to give it a shot. I don't know exactly where all these parts are, but I do know that this here being behind the eyes, we're not really going to see those at all. So I want to actually take these, and I'm okay with pretty much just cutting them down to almost nothing. That'll be all right if I do. But I'm going to try to just put them over inside of here on each side. I may not even need to cut down anything, honestly. Just going to rotate like this. Let's put in 90. And 90 again. Here we are. Let's hit A and C. It's pretty close still. Yeah, I can raise that up a little bit. It'll be alright if I raise it up a little bit. There we go. Now I got plenty of room. Okay. So now I freed up some space on my UV, so I can put some stuff over here. But I'm not sure anything can even fit yet, to be honest with you. But what I do need to do is grab this, which is the ears. I'm going to hit Control L, and I'm going to just bring it all the way as close as I can to the edge. And then I'm going to bring it down as far as I can. There we go. The same thing with this one. There we go. Now I made a little bit of room up here on top of the head for these. I'm really not sure what part of this that is. But we're going to need to rotate it. We're going to do 90, and then the other one will do negative 90. Oh, darn it. Sure does cut it close. Let's go grab the other one. And after this, we just have one more piece, which I can easily fit about anywhere. It's not going to be a problem, that last piece. No, I got plenty of room. There we go. In fact, I probably could have fit them down over here, but it's all right. Then we're going to grab this. And yeah, right there's fine. In fact, I'm going to scale that a little bit. Here we go. All right. That's nice. We can definitely live with that. Now we're going to go on over to the legs, which should be real nice and easy, honestly. I don't know where it's at. Got to hit A. There they are. Okay, so we're just going to hit pack again. Oh, whoops, I got the selection still hit. There we go. Okay, we're going to do the usual. We're going to take one and flip it upside down. Actually, I'm going to take it, go like this, and then over here, Control L. And then I'm going to flip it upside down. Oh, I hate flipping it upside down, honestly. Okay, so because doing that, you're not really getting it exact, and that's the problem with doing it that way. But if you're wanting to be optimized, sometimes you're left without the choice. So now we're just going to select everything, and we're going to scale it. And now we can bring this on in. Again, we're just trying to use up as much of the UV as we can. I may have went too big on that, we'll see. Whoops. There we go. Yep, I went too big. We're overlapping over here. So what we will do, I'll tell you what would be better. I'm just going to, since I've already done and messed up with the transform and had to do the transform, I think it'll be a little bit easier if I just go ahead and stick with the transform. We'll make this all the way to the very edges, all the way to the very edge. Same thing with this. There we go. And now we're going to just do some guesswork. Looks about right. There we go. Now we're using up as much room as we possibly can on that UV map. Then the torso was probably, I really doubt there's anything we need to do with it, but we're going to check it out. Yeah, we could definitely make that a little bit better. I don't know why it decided to rotate. Let's try that again. Yeah, oh well, it's fine. So we might as well just use up some of that room. There we go. Yeah, we'll call that pretty much perfect. So there you have it. Honestly, I kind of want to rotate this. I'm just going to rotate it. Dang it. This way it's at least looking straight up and down. It looks a little funny when it's not. Okay. Now that we got all the UVs set, now we're going to figure out why we did that. And I'm going to come on over here to shading. going to take a second to load it. Okay, so usually, and honestly I've never seen any other way, but whenever you're exporting from DAZ to anything, it'll only grab the main diffuse. It doesn't grab the normal map, it doesn't grab anything else. And you'll find that really frustrating because it makes a whole lot more work for you and I. We really don't need to see much of anything, to be honest with you. Just, there we go. Now I need to go down to view and I go out so I can see a little bit more at the same time. If you have a scroll wheel, you can do a lot of this stuff a lot easier, but I don't have a scroll wheel on my mouse. Okay, so we're going to start off at the very top. We're going to do the arms. And there's only one material for it, so this will be really, really nice and easy. We're going to start off with hitting, I think it's Shift A, hit search, then image, and we're going to put it right here. That way, that's a lot easier for me, and I don't lose it as easy. And click on new, and now this is going to be, just to keep everything easy, we're going to start off with 4K. You can always cut it down if you want. 40, whoops. You can click it and drag and drop, or drag down, and it'll highlight both, and then you can adjust both at the same time. See that? And hit enter. And there's no reason to use alpha on diffuse, so we're going to uncheck alpha, and we're going to hit OK. And then we're going to do another Shift A for search and type in UV. And now for this one, we're going to select the bottom part and hit new. Okay, those are the ones that we changed the UV maps to. These are the ones that we messed with. We're going to drag and drop from UV to vector. And then from there, we select the triangle, go to UV maps, and we're going to have new highlighted. So we have to have new highlighted. We have to have the texture we want to be baking to, which is the new one we made. Why did I name it Untitled? Oh, that's annoying. We're going to name it Torso. Will it work like that? Yeah, sweet, it will. Okay. So it's called Torso. We got to select the new, the texture, and the mesh. Okay. Now that we have that done, we also need to go down to metallic. Metallic has to be all the way down. I know it looks like crap in here, but it'll be all right. Now we're going to go down to this oven, which stands for bake, or render properties, but I like to call it a microwave because we're microwaving things. It looks more like a microwave. So we need to go down to cycles. Okay. And everybody says to use CPU. I don't know. I don't know what's the difference between CPU and GPU. I guess mine is equally same power or something. So the noise threshold. So sorry. Trying to figure out where I need to be here. Cycles, CPU. Okay. So I guess on the rendering, we can uncheck. No, that's not right. Pause. The fuck did it go? It is on cycles. Okay, so you have cycles selected. You have supported. I don't know about I don't know about experimental. I don't mess with it. And then there's CPU and GPU. I always use the CPU. I really don't notice the difference, but everybody says to use CPU. I've tried both. I didn't notice the difference. And then you want to go down to sampling, and then I just uncheck noise threshold on this part. If you're just transferring textures over to a new UV, there's no reason to use any of that. And we're going to just cut down the samples to 1, okay? Because it doesn't make a difference whether you use way high in samples or way low. There's no difference as far as anybody's been able to tell from the videos I've watched. And from my own test as well, it didn't make a difference. Now it does if you're making a normal map or something else, but we're just doing diffuse. So uncheck noise and just put samples down way low. It'll save you a whole lot of time, and there's no difference. From there, we're going to go down to bake, and we are just going to be using diffuse. See here, let me find it. There it is, diffuse. And we do not use any of the lights at all, so we're going to uncheck both of those. We're just using the color, that's all we want. And we will not be selecting clear image. Now, just out of something that I like to do is I raise this as high as I can get it. That just gives extra padding around the image for little random weird spots. The lower you have it, the more chance of error. The higher you have it, the less chance of error. Let's just say the lower is the more chance, as in the higher is the less chance of errors. And what I mean by errors is, well, I guess it's better if I just show you. So we're going to click on bake, and hopefully, well, I guess we should go down to here. Torso. That's what why did I name that torso? I'm doing the arms, not the torso. There we go. Now it says arms. So this here is just us viewing the picture, which is black. This is the texture that we made, but this is also the texture that we are baking to. So we're clicking on the arms. Make sure this is highlighted. Make sure that your metallic is 0. Make sure that the arms are selected, and yeah, the mesh is selected. After that, all you got to do is just go ahead and click bake after we've done all this other stuff too, and you will see. Okay, before you hit bake, sorry, I messed this up. This one here, it probably didn't really matter much. This is viewing. This is the rendering. This one here's the one you need to uncheck, and this one here's the one you need to bring down to just 1. As you see, I got to 5% and was wondering why it was taking so long, and this was why. This was my mistake. So after you got that unchecked and this to 1, everything I was explaining on this one, I meant for it to be this one. That was my mistake. After that, then you hit bake. And there you have it. It had taken the textures from the other one and used my new UV map to rebake the textures where they needed to be. It worked out really great. Whenever you are done with this, you will definitely want to go ahead and click the hamburger symbol. If you didn't know what that's called hamburger. Go down to image, and we're going to want to save this. Save as. And you can make a folder wherever you want. I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call it video. Because that's just what I've been doing. I'm making a new folder after new folder. It's going over here to video. We're going to hit enter. And this is the ARMS PNG. We're going to save it. And as you see, the alpha is not checked because there's no reason to have any alpha on this at all. This is going to be saving you a lot of what do we call it? A lot of RAM, because all these images are going to be shoved inside of your user's RAM in order to process this. So the smaller the file, the less RAM it's going to be taking. So it's RBG, and you can use 16, but man, is that powerful. That really changes it quite a bit. So I just leave it as 8. And the compression, I leave where it's at. In the RGB, just how it is. And I just click on Save Image. Now that we have that one done, there is a whole lot more to this. We're going to be making another image. And the rest of this is pretty simple. We're basically doing the same thing over and over and over, except we're going to be whoops, not new. We're going to be opening, and we got to go down to this one. I'm going to say female. Okay, so that was the arms. I really wish it would preview the images so we can see them better. But as you can see, it says what they all are and all that, but it has numbers beside them, so that way you can tell a little bit better. But this is the bump map. This is the normal that we made, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And then this here is the diffuse, which we've already seen that. And this here is the SSS, which is the subsurface scattering image. So it looks like it didn't even have a normal map that came with it. So we made one, which is right here. But we're going to go ahead and use the bump map, which is right here. We're going to hit open. And as we kind of click around here, it's not really wanting to show it. That's wonderful. But UDM tiles. There we go. Single image. That was the issue. So this is your bump map. As you can see, we're going to be grabbing these arms and we're going to be putting it onto the new UV. And this doesn't really have a bump. Blender doesn't have a bump spot. So we're going to just simply make it into the diffuse by taking over the base color. And you see it looks really hideous. That's fine, not a big deal, because of what we're doing. Now this one here, we're going to be removing the old arms, and we're going to be putting in another new one. We'll name it Arms B for bump. That way we know which one it is. No alpha still. We won't be using alpha really on any of these except for the eyelashes maybe. We're going to hit OK. And now we select this. And here's our preview for it. And just like that, we're just going to hit bake again. And leaving it as the diffuse. Everything else is the same. Hit bake. And there you go. Now you see I've done the, that was the bump map. Put a B there. And again, we're going to save it. Every one of these you definitely want to save. And you can just keep on changing the image really if you want to. Which we did the bump. Now the next would be the normal. And that one's the diffuse. That's the subsurface scatter. So let's go and do the normal. And again, we need to do single image. That way it shows up right. So again, now we're going to rename or make a new texture. This is going to be arms in. You can name these however you want. This is just how I do it. It's a little bit easier for me. I hit OK. And now naturally we would assume two changes to normal, but we're not doing it that way. We're using the textures that are already made from DAZ, and we're just copying them to a new UV. So the best way to do that is just to keep on using diffuse, because we're not baking a new normal map, we're using the old. So we leave it the same, and we just hit bake. Okay, so earlier I actually had this one here selected, and so it rebaked to the same image and it messed it up. But if you ever run across that and you have that issue, all you gotta do is just reselect it and it'll fix itself. But you will need to rebake it to your normal, your new texture that you made. That being said, here's the image when it's done. So we're going to need to save that as well. There we go. And now we're going to change this one here again. It's going to go from the, see here, we've done the bump, we've done the diffuse, we've done the normal. Now it's time to do the subsurface scatter. Which I think that was this one, yep, okay. And of course it's going to need to be changed. There we go. And we can just click on this again, and we're just going to make a new image. This will be the arms SSS, just like so. And with it selected, let's go ahead and there we go. We're going to bake again. Okay, so they are there. The cool part about the subsurface scatter, you can see the veins. That's what's really neat about these. But now we have everything we need for the arms. So we're going to go to image and save as arms SSS. So that'll make 4 different images that we have for just the arms, which that's standard for DAZ. They're all 4K. Every one of these were 4K. And it's easier to go ahead and do this part in 4K images and then later on go back and cut them down however you want using a different imaging tool. But since this is done, all the rest of these, a lot of them are going to be exactly the same. So we're going to skip some of them and go to ones that will take a little bit of extra work. For example, the head. The head's going to be a good one to use for a good example. In fact, actually, I want to go back to arms real quick, and I want to change this back. There we go. And at any time, whenever you're done with these, by the way, they will show up at somewhere along your list. Since I use arms, it'll be at the top to bottom. Here we are. This is the normal. And this is kind of a cool thing to be able to do. You go down to here, take your color, use it on to this color, and then you want to use color space as non-color. And of course it's going to look funny because I'm using a different UV map on this one. I didn't think about that very well. See, I think I need to go like this. So the normal map would be right, but now my normal texture, the actual texture is wrong. So I probably should just go ahead and disconnect that for now. That way it doesn't mess me up. But we're going to go ahead and just click on one and then hold shift and click on the other. Or if you want, you can just go like this and highlight them both and then hit Control C for copy. And now we're going to go on over to the head and just hit Control V. There we go, and it saves that, moves it all over for us, nice and handy. And let's go over to here. And if you remember, now we have two different texture sets that we're having to bake from. And this is where it gets kind of hard to mess with. But regardless, we're going to be going back to here. We're going to name this one head. Hit OK. And see here, we're going to be messing with the face map. Okay, this is the face first. We're going to go ahead and copy this and go to torso and hit Control V. There we go. And we're going to be selecting the head. Go to this one, select the head. And then you can go back up to over here. I just want to be able to see that on the side. There we go. So as you know, this is the head. And if we move the ear, if we move these down over here, and we put the neck piece up here, actually, is what we did. So we're going to be making the new texture, which is here, and now we're going to go down to bake and do the same thing as normal. So let's hit bake and see how that looks, which I just now realized I got to hit cancel because, of course, I didn't turn my metallic down. If you leave your metallic up all the way, this will just stay black. So that won't help you any. When you go down to the other material here, and do the same thing. There we go. Now, in fact, I just want to check this out too. This is the body. Yeah, that's the body. Okay, so we're going to click on this, and now we're going to go on over to bake. And, whoops, bake and bake. Let's see what'll happen now. Okay, and here we are. It actually went ahead and put everything in from 2 different textures into one for me based on my one UV map. And the cool part, you see here are the neck pieces along with this neck piece. Here's the head, here's the ears that we had moved, and the behind the eyeballs parts, which are right there. It's kind of funny that they even exist, to be honest with you. But there it is. Now you've taken from 2 different texture sets and put it all onto just one. That's not a lot of people know how to do that, and now you do. That'll help you a lot in your game development. But the same process to everything else applies, but now you're going to have to do it on two different materials on each and every one of them. Kind of like how we did with this one. Now you got to make your normal, your bump, and your subsurface scattering for all of these to be done with that. So I'm going to skip forward since you know how to do it all and you just got to keep on repeating it. I'm going to skip on forward and do all these on my own and come back to you. While doing this, I have come across a small issue with the eyes and eyelashes actually. The eyelashes was definitely a different looking different looking and a little harder to mess with. So I'm just going to walk through that a little bit. It's still pretty self-explanatory, so it's not real hard to figure out. But you can still just go ahead and find the eyelashes. See here, eyelashes. A lot of these look like they're exactly the same, so I doubt it's going to be anything. Yeah, so there's eyelashes, and just take them over to the base color. And there you still have it, which I need to change this on over to the eyelashes. Or, I guess it'd be eyes because we're using the same deal. There we go, so there's your eyes for your eyelashes, and the irises were still the same. So there's your normal irises, and then we're going to go down to this material. Whoops, I guess I should just went over to eyes. I already made one. There we go. And this is your eyelashes. So after that, it should work just fine. But this is set for non-color, so I probably have the wrong one. Let's scroll down a little bit further. This one. See, that says, these all kind of say the same thing. Non-color. They're probably all non-color. Yeah, they're all non-color, and I guess you just make it black in game. So we will probably just figure that out when we get there. Yeah, we'll figure that out when we get there. May just have to edit the actual image from the white eyelashes, like do it inverted color or something using GIMP or Photoshop or even Paint, whatever, however you want to do that. So you just have to invert the colors and you'll be alright. Plus there will be a alpha, which is right here. And let's see here, it's using the number 1006. We're up here using the 1006 also, so let's not use that. Oh, I guess it's using that one. We'll use this one. There we go. So that's actually your real alpha that's being used. So in game, you'll be able to just use this as your alpha. So from there, again, you'll just click on, make sure that this is all highlighted like it should be, and go to bake, and you should be good. We'll test it out real quick. So there you go. I did have to remake it because I had my metallic turned all the way high on one of my materials. But as you see, all I did was I just made a basic material which was already on there, and I just slapped it. It doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a deal, but there it is. And later on we'll be using the alpha to set this up. So I'll probably just show you that again in I'll probably just show you how to do that here in Blender. In fact, I'll probably just go ahead and do that right now. So you have this. Everything that is white is what you will see. And so that being said, of course, this is going to be messed up. But we can easily fix this by simply going to Texture Paint. And you see, here's where your eyes are. Your eyelashes is going to show just fine, but not for your eyes itself. We already have white selected, so all we got to do is just color in all the parts where the pupil would be, or the eyeball, I should say. And we can probably just make that a lot bigger. There we go. Saves a little bit of time. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is a black and white thing. It's not going to, it's not going to matter, honestly, a whole lot. But you just go on like this, and it'll all be done. Very nice and easy. Don't get too carried away though. There we go. Everything that's white will continue to show up in game or on your material. Everything that's black will be transparent. It will not appear. So there you go. Now everything will show up just how it needs to be. Now we're going to go back to shading. And there you go. It doesn't look as pretty, but it'll work just fine. Now you can save that as a image. We're going to go save as, and we're going to put in, see here, click on that one. We're going to put in eyes, alpha. And actually this one here, since this is like the cheapie, these images here that are alphas are very, very simple. So you could actually just use a black and white and a JPEG and leave it exactly how it is, non-color, set save as, and it won't degrade any because it doesn't use any of the other stuff anyways. So that's how you're going to have your alpha set up. And you can go on over here, and you need to save this one as well as the new eyes. There we go. So now you'll have your eyes done as well, along with your eyelashes. And then you can go ahead and just do your bump. And I don't think there was a normal, but you can do all the rest of your colors that way as well. Now another thing that is on here is you only have one image in general for your eyelashes. So it's not going to have a normal, it's not going to have a bump, it's not going to have anything else. This is just as it is. It's just black with alpha. So when you're making your bump in your normal, I wouldn't even connect anything. I'd just leave it all disconnected. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to even matter. It'll just be black down here. So whenever you get done doing your alpha, and your normal or your diffused eyelash stuff will no longer be relevant. Then all you'll be messing with is your actual eyeball things, which are going to be all the rest of these. You have your bump and your normal. Now, there's probably add-ons to where you have eyelashes that do have all the extra stuff. That's fine, you can use them. But in the instance that you don't, then there's just no reason to have anything selected there. Just leave it blank. And like I said, I'll go ahead and skip on forward. Any notes that I find, I'll go ahead and just cut in here and add them. Okay, so now I have all the textures baked over. And when you are done, if you've done it exactly like me, which I'm going to doubt, you will have this. Now, there is more textures than there originally was because the arms have been split and the legs have been split from the hands and feet. But you will be able to take these feet and make them into 1K or even 512 resolution versus what they were, which in the long run is going to be saving you because there's going to be times where we're going to be able to cut the feet out and so on. But anyways, this is the final look of everything that is done. We're going to be going to the body, and at this point you really want to, and I mean really want to, go ahead and save. And I don't mean just normal save. We're going to save as, and we're going to save this one as video texture exchange, because you will always be needing this. Let's say you want to have a different eye texture, then you're going to need to download new eyes from DAZ, and you're going to need to bring it into this project that's already set up. That way you can rebake the UVs from the new eyes, or I'm sorry, from the old Genesis 8 UV to the new one that you made. And you'll be using that quite a bit on largely just the eyes. And if you decide to have different skin textures for different actors, then you'll need to use it again for that. Just go ahead and hit save. There we go. So now we have two different blend ones. And now we're going to go through here and cut down and remake some of this stuff. Let's see here. I think it might be better if I just go back to the UV editing. Okay, so we're going to need to remove all the model UVs because they are the old UV patterns that we are no longer using. And we'll be able to cut down everything to just using one material now instead of two. Actually, I just left the gums the way they were. I don't think I didn't mess with the gums any, because it was fine just how it was. Everything else I changed out. There we go. Now, the way that I do it is I never save my materials to the FBX. I actually just remove them all completely and make my FBX even smaller, and then I edit all that inside of Unity, because Unity is, I think, easier to use. So we're going to just go through and delete out all of my materials. So the next step is going to be for light maps. Now this is just a quality thing. You don't have to do this, but I do really recommend it. What we're going to do is go back to our UV maps. Down here, we're going to create a new one, and we're going to call it lighting. Now it doesn't matter what you name it. This is just for you. That way you can keep it organized. This is something just to help. So it's going to be called lighting, and we're going to go down and go to edit, so we have to hit tab. You'll see it looks like this. Now that's just because it copied it from your previous one, but with the lighting highlighted, okay, make sure that lighting is highlighted. You're going to have your mouse on this pane. You're going to click U and L. That's light map pack. Okay, let's go ahead and do this the other way. You can go down to UV, and light map pack is somewhere around through here. Well, there it is, light map pack. Now, considering that this is on the body, you're not going to be baking textures in Unity. You're not going to be making light map. You're going to be using either a real-time or a mixed. And because of that, we can use the light map pack. Any other time we wouldn't be able to. Now, originally, people will say adjust this to that and go all crazy with it. Me, no, because we're using the UV packer. So that's what it originally makes. And I mean, it's kind of nice, don't get me wrong, but usually there's a lot of wasted space through here. We don't want that. We want to use it all. So we're going to be using 1K, just 1K resolution on making light maps. And then we're going to hit pack. And down here, it'll go through the percentage. It's done. There it is. There's very, very little wasted space. It uses as much as it can, as best it can. And then we're going to do this on all of them. So I'll just do this one here. Bam. And we're going to hit in AUL. And I'm going to fast forward and get back with you when this is done. Okay, so I got these done. All the light maps are good to go. Very nice. Now, the reason that you care to do this is the exact same reason why we even messed with the UV in the first place. All it's doing is optimizing and allowing for a better performance out of your text resolution. This is going to give you better FPS and a better look all at the same time. This will make your FBX a little bit larger by the way that I've done it, but that's fine. You'll definitely appreciate that extra quality and the performance that we're saving. It'll all make worth it in the end. Now we have the UVs all done. We have the textures all done. I do believe everything is going to be all done now, except for the skeleton sizing. That's going to be a little bit more difficult to me. A lot of people, this is nothing to me. For some reason, I really don't do so well with it. But to optimize it, we need to remove everything because a lot of that stuff is still there. For example, we're going to go to orphan data and look at that. These are all the things that are saved inside the FBX that shouldn't be there, honestly, because we're not going to use them here. To get rid of them, a quicker way is go down to cleanup, and you can click on unused data blocks, and then click on that, and see it removes some. You kind of got to go through these a little bit. Clean up, unused, there's none there, and then clean up, then this one. Then there's one more after that, then clean up, unused data blocks again. Then we still have the brushes. I just hold shift and down, highlight them all, right click, and then you can click on delete, and then it'll give you one new material that was inside of one of the brushes. There you go, and delete. Now you're optimized pretty good. Now we have pretty much everything we need done except for the sizing. There we are. And that is going to be inside of this one here. That's actually set just fine. You can probably just leave all the rest of these alone, actually. It'll probably work out just fine. Let's go ahead and check it out. We're going to... now this here is going to be what I call your master Blender file for your females. So you will want to go ahead and save as. You're not going to do save because otherwise it'll save over your video texture exchange one. Okay, we're going to go back to video, which is right here, and hit save. Now we can go back to here. Now there's going to be issues I should probably mention. Number one are your, where are they at? Actually, it's right here, shape keys. Okay, so shape keys and modifiers do not go together at all. So there is a plugin which is called Better FBX Import and Exporter, I think is what it's called. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. Import F Export. I don't think that's it actually. That might be it. But if it's not, I'll go back and look, and I'll provide a link in the description as well for the plugin that you will need. If you're messing with morphs from DAZ or blend shapes from Blender and the modifiers, then you're going to struggle. It's going to be hard because it will not export blend shapes with modifiers. You'll have to use blend files, and it gets really out of hand. Things start getting crazy in Unity. So with just that one plugin, it fixes everything. So here it is. I'm going to show you. You export as an FBX, and we're going to save it right where we took this from, which was right here, Video Genesis Female. That's a 6.6 megabyte file. You probably will notice a difference. It's probably going to jump up a little bit because we edited it quite a bit. But overall, let's go ahead and check it out, see the size again. I went from 6.6 to 3.5, so we actually cut it down quite a ways, which is great. We're going to hit cancel on that. Now we're going to open this back up, and it's going to want to re-import that body, which completely disappeared. Probably just says it's missing or something goofy. Let's figure it out. Yep, missing mesh, which it's right here. I believe that's it. Yeah, see, now that's why it's all cut up. Okay, so we're going to actually just grab and drop a new one in. And there we are. Now we're going to have to make new material files as well, which actually I'm going to end this video right here because we're done with the Blender part, and I'm going to make a new video on what to do after we optimize this.